Hey, hi folks, I'm Mike Yanessa.
Hey, we're excited about a new show on PCTV Network called Car Stories. Our show's about old car stories, new car stories, and local automobile history. Join us live every Wednesday on the PCTV Network. Hey, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's live on PCTV.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Car Stories on PCTV. We're on the road again. We're here at the York Fairgrounds for Muscle Car Madness. We're going to do a couple live shows this summer, one at Eastwood tomorrow, and one in September. We're going to film High Street, the Hot Wheel race. So all you young folks, get your Hot Wheels ready. We're going to have a Hot Wheel race at the Cruise Night, the first Saturday of September in downtown Pottstown. But today, we're here at York, and we're going to interview some drag racing legends, and we're going to show you a variety of cars, drag racing cars, and have a good time for another edition of Car Stories. Okay, here we are at York at the fairgrounds. We're ready for the unveiling of the 1939 Studebaker. And what was it called?
The Boss.
The Boss. And
Yep.
what's your involvement in the Boss?
I'm the fabricator, restorer of
Okay.
the car, yeah.
And when you found the car, it was in perfect shape, right? Not in good shape?
No. Long way from being perfect, yeah.
And when was it originally built as the Boss?
It started in '64, and I think in the form it is now, it probably was redone in '66.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was originally red.
And then what happened? He raced it for a number of years?
Raced it for a while, and the ownership changed, and then they painted it black and got some chroming done on it, and kind of puffed it up a little bit, you know.
Okay. And then how did you get involved, John?
Well, that's a long story.
Long story. Well, you got involved and you brought it back to its...
Well, it's long. I've known Randy, who bought the car for. I guess I've known him for 30 years, and also know Charlie, the guy who originally built the car, for about 30 years.
Okay.
And I've built Charlie 2 race cars.
Okay.
A pro stock and a gasser, and do a lot of fabrication for him.
Right.
Off and on in his business. He's in a motor business now, do a little fabrication. But anyhow, Randy worked on the other car, the 33 Willies, and Randy had it, once again, he had that car for 20 years, and every couple of years we'd do a little more work on it. So when it came to this car, you know, the other part about it is I build race cars full time for a living. So Randy, his other car is a street rod, which sort of took to somebody who did street rods, you know. But in the case of a race car, this is something that falls right down my line.
Right.
Plus, I knew everybody, you know.
Right.
I was involved. So
you're involved with it.
was a
That's
whole
really
sort of
cool.
little team, you know.
Now, is he here today, Charlie, the original owner?
He better be here.
Okay. Wow, here we are with Charlie Garrett. This unveiling of the 39 Studebaker was his car back in the day that he drove. He's from York, Pennsylvania, but he's been all around the country driving. In what year were we talking, Charlie? 60s, 70s?
I started my racing in 1958.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know this, but the first drag race I ran was at Lincoln Speedway in the dirt.
Oh my gosh.
That was before York ever opened. So
and that was here in York, Lincoln Speedway?
Lincoln Speedway
Wow.
in Hanover. That's up in Hanover.
Oh, in Hanover, PA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They actually raced on the dirt at Lincoln Speedway and at Williams Grove Speedway till York opened. York opened in the early 60s, but I'm not exactly sure when. I'm going to say probably 61, 62. But after that, then that's where we raced a lot. York was the home track.
Right,
and,
your home track.
Made a lot of races at York and won a lot of races there. But
in what car? This one, or?
Well, this car raced there from in '64 and '65.
Right.
From there, I had a '56 Chevy that we raced there for many years.
Is that one?
That's that one.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, we'll show that then.
And then also we had, let me think where we went from there. We built a 33 Willys. That never ran there. We had a Corvette, a 66 Corvette.
Oh.
That won a lot of races at York, a lot of races.
And what happened to that one? Do you
Well,
know where
that
it's at?
ended up in Texas. Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
went to Texas.
Okay.
And then in the latter years, we built an Opel GT.
Okay.
A very successful car that John Little, who had, I didn't know John when this car was built. We built this ourselves.
Right.
But when I got involved with John, he is an excellent fabricator.
Yeah, I met John. I interviewed him. He's
super guy.
Yeah.
And he is a
Seen.
very talented individual.
Wow.
But anyhow, he built me an Opel GT that, in my opinion, was the best Opel to ever go down the drag strip. I mean, there was 2 Opel GTs in the business that I thought was the best. Was the Wayne County car,
Right.
and our car. And we ran that car at a Division II race at Suffolk, Virginia, in the finals, and we beat him. But Larry Kopp was the driver, and he lost control of his car and came over my lane and hit our car, and we went end over end
Oh,
at
my.
155 miles an hour. I wasn't hurt. John not only built a good car, it was a safe car.
Right.
So anyhow, 3 weeks later, we were leading the point system at the time. So all my guys got together, and within 3 to 4 weeks, we rebuilt that car. We got a new body. We cut it off with the firewall. We put a new front end on it. We went up to Maple Grove at the Budweiser National, at Superstock National.
And where are we at? What year?
This was in, this should have been about 81.
Oh, okay.
81 or 82.
All right. So at Maple
81 or
Grove,
82.
okay.
Maple Grove. We bought it back out. We reset the record, which we already had. We reset the record.
Wow.
We qualified number 1 and we won the race. So that says a lot for John Little.
Oh, my
because
gosh, yeah.
To do that was quite an
This is an
accomplishment.
accomplishment.
So
Absolutely.
then anyhow, in '83, I moved on to Pro Stock and
Okay.
started my Pro Stock racing from '83 till '96.
With
And,
what? Ford, Chevy?
A Pontiac.
Pontiac.
Yeah, Pontiac engine, Pontiac car. Yeah, it was
Wow.
always Pontiac. And we won one IHRA national event at Darlington in '94.
Okay.
'94. And I retired from racing in '96. And still work today. Have my own engine building business, which I've had.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I've had it for about 48 years. You know.
Oh my gosh.
And,
Any particular engine? Anything? Or?
I specialize in sprint car motors.
Sprint car engines.
It went from drag racing when York closed, kind of
Right.
hurt drag racing in this area.
Sure, sure, yeah.
So we went, the sprint car guys in the Hanover area, sprint car racing is very big, very big. You got 5-6 tracks within an hour and a half of Hanover and York. And but anyhow, the sprint car guys start coming, and that's what I ended up doing, and that's all I do today is all
Good.
sprint car work.
Good.
And I got involved with a guy by the name of Jason Myers out of California, and did his motors exclusively for 3 years, and
Right.
we won 2 outlaw championships
Right,
back
right.
to back.
Oh,
And,
man, that's
I
very good.
still do motors for him today. So,
Good.
but that's it. You know,
Good.
that's,
Well, I really appreciate it. It's an honor to meet you, and I can't wait to see your car.
Thank you.
Did you peek at it yet, or
No, they
you have
won't
no?
let me see it.
No, you have no.
I know with John and the work they
Yeah,
put in
it'll be
this,
right.
I'm sure it'll be right.
It'll be
I'm
right.
sure.
Well, I can't wait
what
for
I
the
wanted to
unveiling.
do is to keep it the way it was. You know,
Yeah.
if you're going to restore something like this, because it is the right car. I saw it when Randy found it. I said, "You bring it to my shop, and I'll tell you
You'll
if it's the right
identify
car." And there was a.
And where was it found at?
Well, it was, I think, in Delaware. I'm
Okay.
thinking in Delaware it was,
Right.
in a building down there for years.
Right.
And but I knew one of the distinctive features that I could identify was that I had aluminum door hinges made because those old cars we were pretty crazy about weight. Believe me, that car was light.
Right.
And I had them cast there in Hanover at Hanover Barnes and Aluminum, and they made those for me. We had a fiberglass dash made. See, Studebakers, no one had parts.
Oh, sure.
The Willys, your Willys, you could get all
Anything,
kinds of stuff.
right.
So no one had fiberglass. No one had. So we went to McLaren's in Hanover, and they built us the doors. They built us the fiberglass for it. And
Right.
those days, you could get people to do that.
So
you
that's
know.
good because that made you identify the car.
Yeah, well,
no
you
doubt.
know, actually, the Studebakers are more rare than Willys, really. They
Oh, sure.
They didn't make
I
a lot of
believe that.
Studebakers. But I always liked the Willys. The 33 Willys, you saw that, I guess.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
be mine. That was a nice car.
Well,
That-
thank you again, Charlie. It was
You're quite
great,
welcome.
great talking to you. I can't wait for the
All
unveiling.
right.
This is the current issue of Hot Rod Magazine. I got mine 2 days ago, and right there it is, the car that you're about to see right here under wraps in front of us, and we're going to fire it up. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, unveil. Oh, look at that paint. Whoa!
Hey, so we're walking through the York show up here, Muscle Car Madness, and what do we find? The Moose 2, a car from Pottstown, restored by Holler right in Pottstown. This car was found about maybe 15 years ago in North Coventry in poor condition, and they restored it back to its former glory, and here it is at the York County Fairgrounds, looking like it did back in the day. Good job, Horse. So here we are at another drag racing legend, Bruce Larson, one of my personal favorites because he drives a cool Camaro. This Camaro you brought here today, Bruce, tell me a little bit about it.
This Camaro is a replica of my '68 Camaro funny car, which is still in existence, and I own it. John Worm builds chassis.
So he's been building dragster chassis for quite a few years. He started to get requests for funny cars, so we made an agreement that I would be a consultant and reproduce a copy of my '68 Camaro with a modern, safe chassis under it. And so it's kind of the prototype and the house car for the chassis he's going to be selling to the general public.
Okay, and have you run it?
Yes, we have.
Yep, everything's okay.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, the National Hot Rod Reunion 4 weeks ago, and we won our first match race with it.
Get out, just like the old days.
Yeah, that's
great.
Right. Feels good.
Oh, that's great, Bruce. Well, I know you're a busy man. I know you got to go up on the stage to do interviews or autographs. I just wanted to stop and say hi, and it's a pleasure and an honor to meet Bruce Larson here at York, Pennsylvania. Well, besides muscle cars, race cars, nostalgic cars, Bruce Larson, and all the legends of drag racing here at York, there's people with vending, and they're selling stuff. Now, I always talk on my show about how important old magazines are for information, for pictures, and we're at a stand right now that seems to sell everything. He has old magazines, he has Hot Wheels, slot cars, all the stuff that I'm into, and a lot of people were into. So besides the cars up here at York, there's a nice little flea market throughout the building. People selling t-shirts, the SPCA's here. But this gentleman is here with his stand. What's your name, sir?
My name's Craig Holler.
And Craig, you come to all the local shows or just this one, or what do you do, Craig?
I have done this since the beginning.
Have you? York?
I also have a store in Mount Wolf, Pennsylvania. I'm also the largest Lionel train dealer in the area.
Okay, and how would people get a hold of you?
Well, they could go to deadplasty@aol.com.
There you go.
And that's my email address. And I have thousands of model kits, all vintage model kits. I also do all the Carlisle shows.
Oh,
the spring, fall, and Corvettes at Carlisle.
I do the Carlisle shows, and I don't remember seeing this, so we'll have to look for each other.
in the Y building.
In the Y building.
And you'll see 2,000 kits there.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, see, models are something that we grew up with. A lot of young kids today don't know what that is. But
they don't have an idea.
So it's really cool that you
they want it
that.
die-cast. They don't want to. They don't have to do anything.
Already done. Yes. After we leave you, we're going to go in the next room and film some of the models that are in there that the people have built.
Well, those are all from our local club.
Here we are at York with Dave Heisey. And Dave, what is your involvement with the Model Car Club?
Well, my beginning with the Model Car Club was with setting up the display here at York. Mm-hmm. A couple years ago, I approached a couple of the members of the Model Car Club and asked them if they would be interested in put a model car display together, and we thought we'd use a drag racing theme. When we first started out, they actually had like a drive-in type setup. Okay. And I said that we're in the history of the York US 30 dragaway. Right. So we ended up changing the floor mat of the setup. Mm-hmm. We went to the drag racing theme, and as you can see on the display, there's a big tower there, the York US 30 tower at the end of the drag strip there. Right. And we went with that theme, and it's been popular with all the people that stop by and are interested. They're wondering about how the cars are constructed and this and that, and of course they see replicas of the original cars that they raced back in the 60s and 70s.
Right, and now are these, do they get awards for the best model or no? Just display only?
They started doing that, and there are some awards that are given at the end of the show.
Right.
And like I said, it's really a fun thing for these guys to come in and set this thing up. I just am so tickled pink to see the amount of cars.
It's awesome. It really is.
All the labor that is in that table. Boy, I would love to have those hours.
And then, yeah, how about it? And you have young a contest for the young kids to build models?
Yes, the young kids come in and they can make and take model cars home with them.
Oh.
It's nice setup, and Vinny Putt is kind enough, and the other guys that are also involved in the model car club sit and they help the younger people put the cars together.
Right.
Hopefully they're going to pick up on that later on, with a model kit.
Right.
So, but we have a lot of fun with that.
Thank you, Dave. It was a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for bringing this to York. Here we are at York with another beautiful group of cars, and I got interested in this pink Dragster here. So earlier I talked to Jim about it. Jim seems to know the story about it. Tell me who you guys are and the story of this beautiful car called the Special Edition. Ready?
We're ready. How this car came about was there's a company called Rowley Publications in Northeast Ohio that owned 7 newspapers at that time, and I got a hold of the fellow that owned it, and
don't look behind you.
He conceded to it's got to be Baltus back there. He consented to spending some money on it to help me about half the car.
Okay.
So I went to the West Coast and bought this car, or ordered this car in the late '68, picked it up between Christmas and New Year's of '69. It was a complete woody chassis, Hannah body. Cerny painted it, Kelly lettered it at the time with a complete Ed Pink in it. And we brought that car back, and it was the highest dollar car to ever be brought back at the east of the Mississippi at that time.
Wow.
And I raced this particular car in '69, '70, and '71. And I sold the car at the end of '71 when I went to a back-motored car, and kind of disappeared from sight for many, many, many years. And Penny here, he found some of the old stuff of it, and he owns the car now. I don't own any of it.
Okay, yeah.
He owns it all. I've helped him on it and built the motor for it and such, but...
pretty accurate the way it used to be?
Yes, it is. Very, very close to the way it was. Very close. And it's all built off of pictures.
Right.
Recreated off of pictures, because everything had changed and such through the years.
Oh,
so,
sure.
So it wasn't a very easy deal to do, but got it done, and it is... people that remember the car from back when really think it was as close as you could get to what we had back then. So we're very proud of it.
And you guys were friends before the car?
Well, actually, back in those days, I actually raced with people that raced against him.
Ah, no kidding.
By being around him, we became friends, and we had lost track of each other for a lot of years.
And this car brought you back together?
Well, no, actually,
you knew each other?
Actually, I picked up a magazine, and he was being inducted in the East Coast Hall of Fame, and I said, well, darn, I know this guy. And we went down there, and we started talking, and I said, I think we ought to bring your car back to life. And
that's great.
It's been a great deal.
Well, it looks beautiful. I mean, it caught my eye right away. I mean, a front-engine dragster like that, it's just unbelievable.
Well, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that helped an awful lot. And couldn't have done it without it.
Well, it was really nice meeting you guys. Take care of that car. I really like it, and we'll see you again. Watch us on PCTV, and you'll get to see it.
We'll be watching, Mike. I should thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Penny. George, I'm here to interview you for your beautiful white, I guess you call it an altered, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, tell us about the car, George.
Well, it's a recreation of my original car that I ran through the 60s. It was a national record holder.
Oh, my.
And about 4 years ago, I got together with some top fuel drivers, myself included, that we used to race. After I built the altered, we raced that for a couple of years, and then we switched to a top fuel car.
Okay.
More money in it than... But this held a record as a gas car from 61 through 65.
Wow.
And it had elapsed time, mile an hour. And then when I switched to fuel, they didn't have a fuel altered class at that time, so they put me in a fuel dragster class as a CC fuel dragster.
Oh, okay.
And I went to Cecil County, Maryland one day to race, and the guy said, geez, we don't have an altered class here. So I said, well, I want to run. He said, well, we'll put you in a dragster class. So he looked up the chart and everything. He said, it comes out as a CC fuel dragster. I said, oh, okay, we'll run that. So I made a couple time runs, and the best one was an 897, 179 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I shut off before the top, and the guy comes over afterwards. He says, you know what? He said, you just set a new national record.
Wow.
I said, well, great, you know. So I filled out the paperwork, and we were officially CC fuel dragster. So AA altered and CC fuel dragster.
It's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful car. This I see Tasmanian Devil. Is that the name of the car?
Yes.
And the Pacers, who were they?
There was
Car club?
Yeah, I started a car club back in 1957.
And where?
In Valley Stream, New York.
In New York.
And then when I met my partner, and when we started into racing together as a partnership, you know, what name should we use? So he said, let's use Pacers. So it was Pacers Auto.
Okay.
And I had a shop for 30 years in Oceanside, New York.
Okay.
And we did regular cars, foreign cars, and a lot of competition cars.
Great.
So, like I said, this was a record holder.
Nice. Beautiful job doing the car. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Same here.
And thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you. Wow, another beautiful car here at the York Fairgrounds. We're here with Jerry Baltus, and he's going to tell us about this beautiful front-engine dragster. Jerry?
Yes, sir. Well, it's a 1964, and we traveled all over the United States with it, and we ended up number 2, second place in the points thing. Unlike my friend Walter, who ended up number 1. But, no,
Did you race him back in the day?
No, I
class?
already stopped racing. I had a bad accident in '67. I was driving a Guzzler car out of Chicago, and I crashed real bad, so I've not been back in the car. But we raced this thing in '63 and '64. Really did well with it. Won the World Series of drag racing. There was only 2 big fuel shows in 1964. The World Series being one of them, the Winter Nationals, and then later on in the year, the Nationals started running fuel. So actually, there was 3 of them by the end of the year. But no, we had a good time with this car. Went all over the place. Met a ton of people.
Nice.
And here we are, 2013, back doing it again. You know how many people get do-overs?
Right.
Yep.
Right. Now, did the car stay with you all these years, or did it leave and come back?
No, I sold it in 1965.
Sold it, of course, like everybody.
In Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
And we started looking for it in 1990. Spent 10 years looking for it, couldn't find it. Had the same people build this car that built the original car. And 6 months after we got this done, we found the original hanging in a shop in Cleveland.
No kidding.
It had been up there 28 years then. Now it's been up there almost 38 years now.
No kidding.
And it's 99% complete. If I'd have got that car, I don't even know that I would have sandblasted or painted.
Right.
It was just
but this car is just like the...
Exactly. We had them side by side at the reunion in Columbus in 2007.
Right.
And side by side, you could see little differences. But you know, we were all old people trying to remember what used to be, and that doesn't work anymore.
Well, thank you very much for granting me the interview,
All right.
Jerry. It was an honor to meet you.
Okay.
Wow, look at the cars, Gus. Blue Mountain Dragster, front engine dragster, fuel injected small block. Beautiful car. I'm gonna say 38 Chevy called the High Roller with a 348 or a 409 Chevy engine in it. Beautiful car, really nice job. Notice the original tires, the wheels, the lettering. It's all period correct for when this car was built back in the day. Beautiful black, I think it's a Willys. And oh no, it's a Studebaker. It's similar to the car that they unveiled, probably a year or 2 newer. Beautiful car, Phillips Brothers. They raced anything back then, pickup trucks, cars, hot rods, rails, altereds. There's a cool pickup truck. Straight axle in the front, with a 301 cubic inch small block Chevy. 2 carburetors. I mean, there's a little bit for everybody here at the York Fairgrounds. We got door cars, we got altered cars, Fords, Chevys, Chryslers. It's such a variety of muscle cars and drag cars, it's unbelievable. Wow, nice Cobra Jet Mustang Fastback by Rye Ford in Rye, New York. Vinnie Lyons. Beautiful car. Similar car in front of it from Bryce Holman Ford. Another Cobra Jet Mustang Fastback. And over here we have vendors selling toys, Hot Wheels, collectibles, and we jump right into carburetors and ignition systems, fuel pumps. Pittman and Edwards, KS Pittman, raced Willys's back in the day, several of them. This is a gas coupe, awesome car.
The man not signing autographs is John Bartolomeo. John is among the world's oldest living, still in good shape drag racers. Anyway, he's been winning both back years ago. We have a picture of him in York with hippie hair. It was just unbelievable. And he's here taking pictures. Are you going to be up in Beaver Spring?
Well, we got cars, we got carburetors, we got toys, Hot Wheels, we have drag racing legends, and we have Linda Vaughn signing autographs for all the guys, taking pictures. She was Miss Hearst Shifter for a number of years. She represented Hearst and very good friends with Bill Grumpy Jenkins, and she's been involved in drag racing since the 60s. So Linda Vaughn. And then if you come to York, you can get autographs signed by the legends of drag racing. We can walk down the line, you'll see some familiar faces of the guys signing their autographs. Hubert Platt. There's Bruce Larson, we interviewed him earlier.
Sorry to hear that.
If you're into art, this guy is the best. Tim Frederick. He does renderings, drawings, color. They're drawings. They're not photographs of the Grump in his 1970 Camaro back in the day. I mean, he is just amazing. I've met Tim at several shows. He's a good guy. He's been doing it for a number of years. And his artwork for drag racing is second to none. One of the great drag racing legends, Bill Grumpy Jenkins, passed away last year. He was always here at the York Fairgrounds, and he wasn't that grumpy once you got to know him. So behind us here is the Old Reliable from Aaron Smith Chevrolet right here in York. And Dave Strickler was the original driver of this car back in the day, numerous record holders, and Grumpy Jenkins was the engineer. He was the master of the engine tuning and making this car what it is. And the name Old Reliable started in the early 60s, and it followed Grumpy through his whole career. Now, Mike Strickler, which is Dave Strickler's son, he has the car. This is, I'm sure, is a replica of the car, but it's pretty darn accurate, Gus. It looks right. And then right behind it is a 62 Chevy called Old Reliable. That was Grumpy's car back in the day, too. Over here, 61 Chevy, another Old Reliable, another Dave Strickler and Bill Jenkins partnership. Unbelievable car right here. It won so many events I couldn't even begin to tell you. 68 Barracuda, beautiful. Glass back window, gold, black stripe from New Jersey. Looks like it's been in a few magazines and it deserves it. Beautiful, beautiful car. 67 Barracuda, I've been corrected. How about a Pontiac, Gus? Union Park Pontiac, Wilmington, Delaware. I'm going to say 63 Tempest. Well, it's a 63 class champion. What a beautiful car. I remember this car very well. Studebaker, the Frog. Fiberglass lift-off front end. Look where the motor's at. Set back into the car. They did that for traction and do weight transfer to the rear tires. I mean, it just goes on and on. We could do a 10-hour show here at York. Anything you can think of. Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, Dragsters. Just an unbelievable show. So next year or tomorrow, you can get out and see it and check out the cars here at the York Fairgrounds.